When you look up at a massive cargo ship, it is easy to assume you are looking at an indestructible, solid block of steel. But naval architects know the truth. To survive the extreme environments of the open ocean, these vessels cannot be rigid. They are engineered to act as flexible structures, continuously warping and bending with the motion of the water. Usually, this flexibility keeps the ship intact. But when a vessel is pushed past its ultimate structural limit, the results are catastrophic. In January 2007, the MSC Napoli, a 53,000-ton, 276-meter-long container vessel packed with cargo, sailed directly into a severe winter storm in the English Channel. The storm, however, did not destroy this ship. The Napoli was torn apart by a highly specific intersection of applied fluid dynamics, extreme static loading, and an invisible data error hidden deep inside the cargo. Safety at sea depends on data precision. For a hull to survive, its mathematical safety model must align perfectly with its physical reality. To understand how a hull fails, we have to look at the physics of structural deformation. This diagram shows a solid steel beam resting on concrete pillars at its extreme ends. When we place heavy weights in the middle, the structure deforms. The material along the top face of the beam compresses, pushing together under the load. At the exact same time, the material on the bottom face stretches apart, entering a state of tension. Engineers call this specific downward bowing shape sagging. If we remove the outer supports and place a single pillar in the middle, the ends hang free, and gravity forces them downward. The structural forces immediately invert. The top stretches into tension, and the bottom squeezes into compression. Because this upward arching shape resembles the arched back of a hog, naval architects call this hogging. These same physical laws apply directly to a 300-meter cargo ship. The flat upper deck and the deep underwater keel explicitly act as the upper and lower flanges of a massive steel beam. Unlike our static beam, a ship floats on a fluid foundation. This 3D model shows a hull supported entirely by the upward force of buoyancy. And because the shape of a ship changes from front to back, that upward force is highly uneven. At the fine, sharp lines of the bow and stern, there is very little volume underwater, which generates minimal buoyancy. But the wide, boxy middle of the hull displaces massive amounts of water, generating a dense concentration of upward lift. Gravity pulls the heavy, weakly supported extreme ends of the ship downward, while the water pushes the highly buoyant center upward. Because of this uneven displacement, even if you distribute your cargo perfectly evenly across the deck, a container ship naturally sits in a static, hogged condition. Before the engines even start, the hull is already locked in a massive structural battle against its own natural buoyancy. To keep the ship intact, the crew must manage that stress with absolute mathematical precision. Which brings us back to January 2007. The MSC Napoli arrived in Antwerp several days behind schedule. To save time, the company canceled subsequent stops and ordered the crew to load all of the European cargo in a single, massive operation. The port presented an immediate operational hurdle. The water was shallow. To safely clear the harbor locks at any tide, the Napoli could not exceed a draft of exactly 13 meters. The chief officer programmed the stowage plan using the ship's loading computer, a system designed to calculate safe bending limits by cross-referencing the strength of the hull steel against the declared weights on the shipping manifests. But the math revealed a dilemma. The only configuration that successfully fit all the cargo while keeping the hull within safe structural limits resulted in a stern draft of 13.5 meters. The ship was half a meter too deep to legally sail. The crew engineered a mechanical solution. Pumping seawater into the forward ballast tanks at the extreme nose created a massive lever. The weight pulled the bow down and levered the stern upward, bringing the aft draft to the required 13 meters. But this fix came with a dangerous side effect. By stacking intense, heavy weight at the extreme, unsupported nose of the ship, they forced the ends further down, drastically increasing the static hogging stress on the hull. This spike in stress actually exceeded the ship's safe open ocean margins. However, because calm harbor waters place less dynamic strain on a vessel, this configuration was temporarily permissible. The plan was to sail out of the shallow port and immediately pump the water back out once they hit deep water. Then, the pre-departure draft survey exposed an anomaly. By physically measuring how much water the ship displaced, the crew discovered the vessel was vastly heavier than the loading computer claimed. According to the water displacement, there were 1,250 tons of phantom weight sitting somewhere inside the ship. Because commercial shipping costs are tied to weight, shippers frequently underdeclared the mass of their containers to save money. The crew had loaded thousands of boxes, holding a collective 1,250 tons of heavy cargo that simply didn't exist on the paperwork. With no way to locate exactly which containers held the extra mass, they averaged it out in the computer and sailed. The MSC Napoli left Antwerp carrying thousands of tons of hidden, highly concentrated stress directly toward a winter storm. As the Napoli pushed west down the English Channel, the winter weather severely deteriorated. The wind escalated, and the ship found itself slamming into steep, massive ocean swells. In naval architecture, wave frequency dictates structural survival. The most extreme physical danger occurs when the distance between two wave peaks matches the exact length of the ship. Let's get this formation. When wave crests support the extreme bow and stern, the deep trough leaves the heavy middle entirely unsupported. Gravity drags the center down, forcing the ship into a dynamic sag. But as the wave moves, the support inverts. A single massive crest centers directly under the middle of the ship, pushing it high into the air. The sharp bow and the heavy stern are left suspended over deep troughs. Stripped of their upward buoyancy, gravity ruthlessly pulls the ends of the vessel downward, forcing the hull into a severe dynamic hog. The Napoli was already locked in a severe static hog from its natural buoyancy, its extreme ballast configuration, and 1,250 tons of hidden phantom cargo. Now the ocean was stacking millions of pounds of dynamic wave energy on top of that load. Compounding this stress was the pitching motion. As the bow violently struck the oncoming waves, the immense impact flexed the steel hull slightly upward, only for it to snap back down with terrifying kinetic force. At 11 a.m., the vessel suffered a particularly violent bow slam. The kinetic shockwave from the massive impact rippled backward through 276 meters of steel. The combined static load and dynamic wave energy finally exceeded the ultimate tensile strength of the steel. Deafening metallic cracks tore straight across the deck of the engine room and ran vertically up the outer shell plating. Bad data weaponized the loading calculations against the ship. Without those safety margins, the 53,000-ton hull was defenseless against the energy of the waves. With the hull fractured and freezing seawater rapidly flooding the engine room, all structural integrity vanished. The master immediately ordered an emergency evacuation, and the crew abandoned the dying ship in enclosed lifeboats. The crew was rescued, but the crisis escalated. The broken Napoli was drifting through the busy English Channel, carrying 3,500 tons of heavy fuel oil. If the hull snapped entirely and sank in deep water, it would trigger a massive environmental disaster. Authorities made a drastic tactical choice. To secure the wreck and prevent an offshore spill, they attached tow lines and deliberately ran the massive ship aground in the shallow waters of Branscombe Beach. As the hull hit the seabed and ground to a halt, the severe list caused the container stacks to fail. Dozens of heavy shipping boxes broke loose, plunging directly into the surf and washing up onto the English shoreline. The scattered cargo quickly drew crowds of opportunistic scavengers who swarmed the beach to rip open the battered containers. Police had to step in, as taking unreported wreck material is strictly classified as theft under maritime law. With the beach secured, crews began a grueling, years-long salvage operation to safely pump out toxic fuel and dismantle thousands of tons of unsalvageable steel. The structural damage was too severe to tow the ship away in one piece. Salvage teams had to use shaped explosives to deliberately blow the ship apart, cleaving the steel along the exact fracture line the ocean had started. The cleanup took 2.5 years and cost roughly £120 million, all because the ship's margin of safety was silently erased by an invisible margin of error. When salvage crews finally put the recovered containers on physical scales, the true extent of the shipper's misdeclarations was exposed. The autopsy data was staggering. 20% of the containers were at least 3 tons heavier than their shipping manifests claimed. One single unit was found to be 20 tons over its declared weight. The Napoli disaster proved that the paper-based honor system the global supply chain relied on was structurally fatal to the ships moving the cargo. This disaster forced a complete overhaul of international maritime law, leading to the new SOLAS requirement for verified gross mass. Under this rule, every single shipping container must now be physically weighed on a calibrated scale before it is ever legally allowed to touch a ship's deck. By forcing physical reality and computational models to strict alignment, the industry eliminated the phantom weights that crippled the Napoli, ensuring modern ships can bend to the will of the ocean without ever breaking.